President says from here on his approval is needed for large-scale land excavations and deforestation. 1,819.5 billion rupees allocated for government expenditure through the 2017 appropriations bill. International warrant issued for the arrest of Udayanga Veeratunga. The Rukshi Dias returns to her duties at the Attorney General's Department. Hello there, very good evening to all our viewers. This is Primetime News. We are coming to you live and direct from the Newsfirst studios here in Colombo. Bringing you the news tonight, I am Joel Outsko.
And I'm Azra Hassan. Let's now take a look at the top story for tonight.
Starting off news from the President's diary this evening, addressing an event held at the Central Environmental Authority, President Maithripala Sirisena emphasized that stern action will be taken against those who cause harm to the environment.
A
permit had been issued to a businessman to excavate a large mound of earth located in close proximity to the Ambe Pussa clock tower in Warakapola. 5 such permits had been issued to this businessman. I ordered for the cancellation of all these permits. I also received words that hundreds of acres of forest are being felled in the Kandy and Nurelia areas. Surprisingly, permits had been issued for this purpose. Therefore, I will issue a new circular making it mandatory to obtain my final approval for any such activity. According to the permit issued for the excavation, the excavated land is to be used for the Colombo-Kandy road. For the past 10 months, work on this road hasn't commenced. So why have they been excavating land since January? If land is needed for such a project, then these permits need to be issued after construction work begins. The President made this statement during a function held to launch the Polythene, Plastics and Electronic Waste Management Week. During the event, it was revealed that the highest usage of polythene in the country is been reported from the Colombo district.
Clash between 2 groups of fishermen sparked tensions in Kalpitiya Putlam today. Our correspondent reported this evening that traffic on the Putlam-Kalpitiya road came to complete standstill early this evening due to the tense situation. Fishermen using illegal fishing methods clashed with the regular fishermen in the seas close to the Uchumane Islet this morning. The regular fishermen staged a protest this afternoon against the assault. The police was called in to control the situation.
And on to a story that made it to the headlines this evening. The 2017 budget proceedings officially got underway in Parliament today with the tabling of the appropriations bill.
තනාගතුමනි මම විසර්ජන පනත ඉදිරිපත් කරනවා.
අමාත්‍ය මණ්ඩලයේ අනුමැතිය ලැබී තිබේද ගරු අමාත්‍යතුමනි?
තනාගතුමනි ඔව් සම්පූර්ණයෙන්ම කැබිනට් මණ්ඩලයේ අනුමැතිය ලබා තිබෙනවා.
දෙවෙනි වාර කියවීම කවදාද?
හෙට.
According to the 2017 appropriations bill, government expenditure for the year has been estimated as 1,819.5 billion rupees. Incidentally, 1,208 billion rupees has been estimated as recurrent expenditure. 284 billion rupees has been allocated for defence. By contrast, 77 billion rupees has been allocated for education and 163 billion rupees for higher education. The second reading of the budget or the budget speech is to be made on the 10th of November, while the vote on the second reading has been set for the 18th of November. The third reading of the budget has been scheduled for the 10th of December. We are presenting the 2017 budget with a program to direct the country towards development, set the country on a speedy journey forward that will create jobs through development and improve the lives of the people. We are presenting this budget with everyone from both parties coming to a consensus. The debt burden which we inherited could easily be described as a grenade where the pin has been removed. Through the intervention of the Prime Minister, when he went to China, we were able to secure a deal where they would take over 80% of the Hambantota ports together with the Ports Authority. This has reduced the debt burden we have upon ourselves. Our government will present a program with the intention of creating some sort of productivity. I must remind you that all projects that are considered white elephants will be directed towards a program where we can reap economic benefits.
The Rukshi Dias Wickramasinghe, who tendered her resignation as a Director General of the Commission to investigate allegations of bribery or corruption, reassumed her duties as an Additional Solicitor General today.
The letter of resignation presented by the Direksha Wickramasinghe was accepted by the President yesterday. Thereafter, Sunetra Jayasinghe, who was serving as the Deputy Director General of the Commission, was appointed as its Acting Director General. President's Counsel Direksha Wickramasinghe reassumed her duties in her previous role at the Attorney General's Department as an additional Solicitor General. The Colombo Fort Magistrates Court today issued a warrant to arrest Sri Lanka's former ambassador to Russia, Udayanga Weeratunga. The international warrant for the ex-diplomat's arrest will be enforced through Interpol. The warrant was issued when the case was taken up before Fort Magistrate Lanka Jayaratna.
Former commander of Sri Lanka Army, General Dayaratnayaka, was summoned before the Presidential Commission of Inquiry into large-scale fraud and corruption today.
The former army commander was questioned on the alleged crediting of a sum of 50 million rupees to the Sri Lanka Army Welfare Trust Fund account, which was obtained from the Telecommunications Regulatory Commission of Sri Lanka without the authorization of the Ministry of Disaster Management. The money is alleged to have been obtained to provide building materials to those affected by the floods in the Ampara, Vavuniya and Kurunegala districts a week prior to the presidential election. Officials of the Presidential Commission of Inquiry had questioned the former army commander for over 5 hours. I was summoned over an issue concerning the correct expenditure of the financial donations which we received. We have very clearly functioned under proper procedure. As state officials, we will give answers to these matters. But these are the sort of disappointing consequences that occur due to the lowly political interferences. This is what honest army officers and state officers like us face. Welcome back to the news. Today we delve even deeper into the incidents that transpired surrounding the bond controversy.
Do you remember the bond auction that took place during the first quarter of last year after a meeting was held with the participation of ministers, the chairman of the UNP Malik Samaravikrama and the governor at the time Arjuna Mahendran still raises the eyebrows of many. After anomalies surrounding the bond transaction were exposed by the media as well as the opposition and the civil societies, the matter came to a conclusion in March this year. However, the investigations were focused on several avenues. The report of the three-member committee appointed by the Prime Minister said that the governor at the time was not directly involved in the matter. It added, however, that bids provided by Perpetual Treasuries Private Limited, said to be owned by the son-in-law of the governor at the time, should be investigated extensively.
You know that the Honourable Prime Minister appointed a committee. He promised that the report will be made public. This is that report. At the very least, tell us the three people who carried out the investigation. This is not a government report. This was done by three private lawyers. How can you say that you are producing the report and not mention the names of those who compiled it?
COPE was later tasked with the responsibility of investigating whether insider trading resulted in the company, allegedly owned by the son-in-law of the former governor, receiving undue benefits. More details of the controversial bond scam tomorrow.
Member of the Committee on Public Enterprises or COPE, Deputy Minister Ashok Abesinghe say that the final discussion with regard to the COPE Committee report on the investigation into the bond issuance will be held tomorrow.
The COPE report on the central bank bond issue is due to be submitted before Parliament on the 25th of this month. Today we spoke with all members and formed a draft of the report. This draft was extensively debated today. We began our discussions at 11 am and it continued until 5:30 pm. We were able to discuss and reach an agreement on 12 pages of the report. We will reconvene at 9 am tomorrow and gather all the recommendations for the final report. The entire committee, including the chairman, wants to submit this report. However, there are some things that we cannot agree about. That is what we are discussing on.
Minister Vajra Bebodhana has come under heavy scrutiny of civil organizations yet again. The latest criticism at the minister comes days after he made a statement regarding the Police Financial Crimes Investigation Division. Minister Vajra Bebodhana came under the spotlight following allegations raised by civil organizations that he is protecting state officials who allegedly engaged in acts of fraud and corruption. Subsequently, the minister was also involved in a controversy surrounding a letter he addressed to the advisor to the Prime Minister, R. Paskarulingam. In the letter, the minister requests Paskaralingam to grant funds to a businessman for a government contract that he had fulfilled.
No such letter had been written. If there is such a letter, they can show it.
This was the minister's response when Newsfirst exposed the letter he sent.
This businessman who has been mentioned came to my desk and pleaded, saying that all of his property is to be confiscated and for state funds to be transferred to his bank account. Therefore, I presented a letter.
In the latest statement, the minister says that the Police Financial Crimes Investigations Division does not apply to state officials.
When I call a state employee for a minor task, they ask me if they would end up at the FCID. I said no, just go home. I asked them if they are afraid of the FCID. Well, the FCID does not matter because it does not apply to state officials. State officials do not operate under police ordinances. I vehemently condemn Minister Vajra Abeyewardena's statement because he has misused the ministerial powers. For example, Damayanti Jayaratne, who occupied an important position during the Avantgarde transaction, was placed in his ministry when she was facing a crisis situation. So she left the country through his ministry. Then again, we have Anusha Palpita, who was connected to the allegations regarding silk cloth, who is also attached to Minister Abeyewardena's ministry. So the way we see it, the agenda of Vajra Abeyewardena does not seem to be the agenda of good governance. State officials are the watchdogs of state funds. They are accountable for the misuse of public money. These officials have just one thing to do. If they cannot tell who instructed them to commit this crime, if they are not being allowed to say so, then this minister is not a person who represents good governance.
Wild elephants continue to terrorize many locals living in the Galloya settlement in Nampara.
Locals from settlement numbers 16, 17, 18, 19 and 20, which comes under the purview of the Uhana Divisional Secretariat, have faced the brunt of wild elephant attacks for many years. They claim that the situation worsened 4 years ago. The locals raised this issue with Newsfirst during the Gum at the Door-to-Door campaign. The issue was also pointed out in the final report prepared in collaboration with the University of Peradeniya. However, authorities have turned a blind eye to this. Around 30 houses were destroyed over the past month due to the wild elephant attacks. Wild elephants recently attacked 5 houses in the 16th settlement and another 4 houses in the 20th settlement. 2 lives were also lost due to this worsening situation. On numerous occasions, we have asked them to remove this wild elephant who claimed the lives of 2 people. A sum of 200,000 rupees has been allocated for this purpose. However, they shirked their responsibilities, giving various excuses. At one point, they said the doctors are not willing to come. On another instance, they said the vehicle to transport the elephant had suffered a breakdown. They simply provide excuses. Acting Director General of the Department of Wildlife Conservation, W.S.K. Patirana, said that the 2 trucks owned by the department to transport elephants have been sent for repairs, which had caused the delay. He said that the elephant will be captured and moved to a separate location in the coming week. According to the locals, elephants from Buddangala Reserve enter into smaller forests including Pansakale, crossing the Andaloya, where they rest in the afternoon and then proceed towards the affected villages at night.
We do not know what persons with power are doing. It's been 3 months since my husband passed away. We could not even conduct a proper almsgiving. My daughters had gone to the temple. When they returned in the morning, everything was destroyed. The elephant charged at once and tried to break through the windows using its trunk. I remembered that my child was asleep. I rushed in, removed the net and pulled my child to the floor. It was then that the elephant broke down the wall. If my child was asleep, he would have died.
There are around 7 to 8 elephants. When we shear, they go away. But one remains. It killed 1 person in the colony. As lives continue to be lost and authorities continue to turn a blind eye, a team from the Gum at the 100 Days Initiative left for Ampara today to ascertain how we could help. Details tomorrow.
Children expressed their contrary on the threat of wild elephants in that manner at the inauguration of two Gammatha 100-day projects at the Samudagama Primary School in Hambantota. With their lives battered daily by the menace of wild elephants, children who study at the Samudagama Primary School in Hambantota pursue education amidst various hardships.
Recently, a lizard had fallen into the water tank, and what remained was a skeleton. We had no way of using the washrooms or even accessing water. After this is repaired, we will protect them.
The students who engage in their studies without a drop of water to drink have been waiting patiently for many years for sanitation facilities to be provided to their school. The Gammatha 100 Days initiative gave life to those dreams today.
No other organization would have ever done such a deed at a poor school in a developing city.
We hope that this is not the end of your work here. Take this forward. I asked you not to limit this to 100 days, but carry out such activities forever.
The project at the school was supported by the generous donations of retired biology teacher Chandra Jabodana. The project will be supervised by the Hambantota Zonal Education Office. The Gammatha Savia Community Organization was also established to reach solutions to other issues in the village, and these projects are to be vested with the public in the coming days.
Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe held discussions with many factions representing the EU today as well.
Chairwoman of the EU Human Rights Subcommittee, Barbara Lochbihler, led the discussions with the Sri Lankan delegation, which was attended by members of the European Green Party and the European Alliance for Freedom. The Socialists and Democrats in the European Parliament also held discussions with the Sri Lankan delegation led by the Prime Minister. These talks were led by Estuan Uheli, the Vice Chair of the EU Subcommittee on Transport and Tourism. The discussions were focused on the programs for the development of tourism in Sri Lanka. The Prime Minister also called on the President of the European People's Party, Joseph Daul, and discussed matters related to regaining the GSP Plus concession. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe also held talks with Martin Schulz, the President of the European Parliament. During the visit to Brussels, the delegation also visited the port of Antwerp and the Diamond Exhibition.
News back at home this evening. UN Special Rapporteur Rita Izan-Inde, an independent expert on minority issues, spoke to the media today on her findings and recommendations after concluding her 10-day tour of the country.
The UN Special Rapporteur made numerous short-term and long-term recommendations on several issues. She firmly stressed the need for Sri Lankan institutions, such as the police, health and education organisations, to reflect the diversity of Sri Lankan people.
Truth-seeking, reconciliation and healing takes time and cannot be done overnight. However, at the same time, in order not to lose the momentum gained by the new administration in 2015, the government must put in place some urgent, important and concrete measures to clearly demonstrate its political will and commitment to better protect Sri Lanka's minorities. This includes continued return of land to their owners, charging or releasing all security-related detainees, making progress in finding disappeared persons.
The UN Special Rapporteur emphasised the challenges faced by Sri Lankan women and spoke about the need to give women more opportunities.
Women and girls belong to minority communities that often face unique challenges and multiple or intersecting forms of discrimination emanating from their gender and their status as persons belonging to minorities. This is particularly acute in Sri Lanka, where women's participation in decision-making is strikingly low and gender-based violence occurs frequently.
Isaac Dia's statement today was given ahead of a full report which will be presented to the United Nations Human Rights Council in March 2017.
There are many instances when incidents of larger magnitude overshadow smaller yet equally important incidents. However, this should not be the case for acts of wrongdoing. Like the widely discussed central bank bond controversy, there is another banking debacle that has taken place under the government of good governance. Investigations should be launched and those responsible for the current situation of the Lanka Putra Development Bank should be punished. This task should be spearheaded by the central bank. If it fails to act in such instances, then the question arises, why does the country require a central bank? This individual, who was appointed as the head of the Lanka Putra Development Bank under the government of good governance, was removed from his position based on two reasons. The central bank may be attempting to showcase that they have taken actions based solely on this decision. However, both the former and current central bank governors have adopted a policy of evading the topic whenever the position of head of the Lanka Putra Bank comes up for discussion. Chairpersons for state banks are appointed based on political affiliations and not on credentials. However, it is difficult to find individuals who rose to such positions in this manner, acting in defiance of central bank directives solely on the strength of their political backing. However, even though this individual was removed from his position, he is in place where he could intervene in the activities of the bank. The Lanka Putra Development Bank branches in Tambutegama and Akurasa stand as concrete evidence of the brazen activities conducted by this individual in defiance of the central bank. Both branches were declared open in a backdrop where the central bank instructed the Lanka Putra Bank not to open the said branches. The activities of the Lanka Putra Bank should raise the eyebrows of the central bank as well as government officials.
ඔක්කොම මාස 7 8 අවුරුද්දේ ඔහොම තියෙනවා. ඒ වගේ සල්ලි දාලා තියෙනවා ඒකට තාම නෑ ඇවිල්ලා බලන්න. නෑ. ඇයි ඉතින් සල්ලි දැන් මේ ඔච්චර කාලෙක? ඉතින් ඒ ගිනුම් ලංකා බැංකුවේ ගිනුම් ගාල්ල කියනවා මෙයාලගේ නමට ගිනුම් දැම්මහම තමයි සල්ලි දෙනවා කියලා කියන්නේ. මේ ණය දෙන්නම් කියලා කියන්නේ. ඒකට දැන් අවුරුද්දකට වැඩි ඒත් තාම නෑ. නෑ නෑ. මේක දැන් මොකද වෙලා තියෙන්නේ ණය දෙන්නේ නැහැ. දන්නේ නැහැ කොහොමද කියලාද?
Action TV will reveal details of how the former chairperson of the Lanka Putra Bank and his close associates turned the Lanka Putra Bank into their own buffet.
Our sister channel Shakti TV celebrated its 18th anniversary today.
A grand celebration was held at the Shakti TV studio complex in Depanama in line with the 18th anniversary celebrations. Officials of the Capital Maharaja Organisation Limited, including Group Director of Electronic Media Business Nidra Veerasinghe, Group Director Srilal Ahangama, Channel Head of Shakti TV GV Prakash, Station Director MTV MBC Asoka Dias, as well as Senior Journalist J. Sri Ranga were present at the event.
We have grown brands that have become loved amongst our audiences, as well as respected. As you know, the journey has not always been easy. It has been challenging, but mostly rewarding. And I'd like to say a special thank you to our loyal audiences who have been with us through all these 18 years. We would like to also acknowledge our Chairman and Managing Director, Mr. Rajamahendran's unwavering commitment and support to this industry, which inspires us to do what we do every day in bringing you some of the best in Tamil language programming.
I want to wish a happy anniversary to all our Shakti TV viewers and those who work at Shakti TV. Shakti TV is a channel of the Tamil people. Even though there are many channels that have popped up, we were the only channel that was there even during the war. We are able to carry out many social tasks due to the decisions of our management and the support of our viewers. That is why we have been so strong for 18 years.
Well,
on that note, we wrap up this edition of Primetime News. Remember that you could keep abreast of the latest and trending stories on our website, www.newsfirst.lk. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Joel Outscoon.
And I'm Azra Hassan. Have a good night.
Take care.